Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending upon what time you are watching this video. I wanted to come out and talk to you guys today because there is a question that I have been becoming consumed with or getting asked millions of times, and I wanted to make sure that I help to make it really clear for you ladies as well as you are working on reaching your aspiring author goals. One of the questions that I often get asked is, how do I make time to write my book? Well, the truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We all have the 7 days a week. We all have the 12 months in a year. I mean, it's the exact same time. What it really comes down to is, what are you doing with the time that you have? As an aspiring author, I knew immediately that in order to grab control of my day and really make time for my book, I had to get in control of my habits. You see, we are creatures of habit. And it's easy to fall back into the same exact habits time and time and time again. Think about it. If you walk in your front door and it leads to your living room and your TV, you're likely going to sit down and watch TV. But if you change your routine and you walk into the kitchen door, through the kitchen door, then you might pick up a snack. We have these cues or these triggers in our mind that cause us to fall into a routine, which ultimately becomes our habits. And so in order to change that, you have to really get in control of those habits. And then you will start to notice that more time will come into your schedule. So as an aspiring author, I knew there were 5 things that I needed to do each day in order to increase my success in getting my book written. And I want to share these things with you today. The first thing that I always do every single day, no questions asked, is I always pray. I firmly believe that any gift or idea or goal that I'm working towards, God gave that to me. God gave that idea to me. He gave that thought to me. And so in order to be successful with it, I want to make sure that I am including him in it from the beginning all the way into the end. I want to make sure that I am acknowledging what he's given me, the thoughts, the ideas, the strategies, the goals, all of that. I want to make sure I'm acknowledging all of it. So the first thing I always do is pray. That's honestly the first thing I do in the morning. The rest of these habits that I'm going to share with you can kind of be done, however, throughout your day. And I do pray throughout my day and again at the evening, but that I want to share that that's the first thing I do when I jump out of bed, because I am grateful for waking up. And I always share that I am grateful for the idea. I am grateful for the goal. I am grateful for the time that I'll get, those sort of things. The next thing that you want to do as an author is you want to journal. A lot of people overlook the process of journaling. There's so much that can come from journaling. You can free up thoughts. You can start thinking of new thoughts. Ideas will come, that sort of thing. And one of the things that I did in my book writing journey, I had an idea once for a book. And I remember thinking, I'll get to it when I get home. And when I got home, I got busy. And basically, I kept getting busy day after day after day. And eventually that idea died. I can't even to this day recall what the idea was that I was going to write about or the strategy or anything like that. And so I promised myself from that day forward that I would never let another idea just pass me by. And so now I'm very intentional about any ideas that I have, writing them down, sharing them, talking about them. And so what I do is I carry a notebook with me where I jot down all of my ideas. So ideas that pop up for chapter titles, ideas that pop up for book names, ideas that pop up for characters, in the development of a story, any ideas that I have regarding my books, and even honestly my business, I jot those ideas down because I do not want to forget them. The third thing that you will want to do in your book writing process is you want to understand who you're writing to. And it's great that you're like, okay, I'm writing to little kids or I'm writing to women, but what specific arena of kids? Are you writing to little boys? Are you writing to little girls? Are you writing to 2-year-olds? Are you writing to 10-year-olds? What about women? Are you writing to women that are going through transition? Are you writing to women that want to open a business? Who are you writing to? And once you really understand that, you want to make sure that you're doing some amount of research on your ideal reader. So I would get on Facebook and I would join groups to kind of listen and engage with these women that I would think would be my ideal reader. I'd post things, I'd study. And what that really helped me do is it helped to put me in the mindset of the women that I was writing to so that I had a real thorough understanding of who they were, what their expectations were, what their pain points were, what they needed from me, that sort of thing. And so every day I was consuming that information because daily things change and everybody has a different perspective. And so I wanted to make sure that I had a thorough understanding of all of it. And so it doesn't have to be something super lengthy. Maybe one day you're interviewing somebody. Maybe the next day you're just searching through Facebook and looking up certain topics based on what you're doing. Maybe you're reading articles. Maybe you're Googling online. I mean, there's many ways. Maybe you're talking to somebody at your local church, whatever it may be. There are many ways that you can connect with your ideal reader and just continue to learn more and more about them. Then the next thing that I did is I read. As I was working on my book, I want to make sure that I'm understanding what other books are out there, what topics are similar, how books are structured, grammar, and I'm picking up and learning things. And so I'm constantly reading because I want to fill myself with as much personal development as possible, because that's going to allow me to be successful as I'm sharing information in my book, especially because I write personal development books. But if you're writing a fiction book, read a similar fiction book. Look how the story starts. Look how the character is developed. Look at the hero. Look at the action. Read and take all of that information in, because what it's really doing is it's informing your writing when it comes time for you to sit down and write your book. The fifth step that I committed to every single day was writing. I always set a writing appointment every day except for Sundays. I'd give myself downtime. But I would write for I'd say I'd spend some time on my book for about an hour a day. And I would set a writing appointment. And what I mean by that is I'd put an appointment on my calendar from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day to write, or from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to write every single day. And for some of you, that might sound tedious, but what I was really doing is I was trying to create a new pattern. I was trying to create a new routine and habit in my day. And once it started to become more familiarized, that 1 hour didn't ever really seem like enough. You know, it seemed like there was more that I wanted to do. And it just became it became normal to me. And so the same way that you schedule appointments for your doctor, for your work meetings, for your happy hour with your coworkers, for your kids' gymnastics or karate or whatever, is the same way that you want to schedule your writing slots. Because when you schedule that like that, then you are more likely to commit to it. You are going to commit to following through with that writing. And so you want to make sure that you are scheduling that regularly. Maybe for you, you can't commit to 5 or 6 days a week. So maybe you commit to 3. Whatever it is, I want you to make a commitment to stick to it. And when you are doing that, you are going to increase the chances of you getting your book done a lot sooner. And it won't feel nearly as overwhelming. I see a lot of women who kind of go at their goals willy-nilly, right? They start writing one day, then they don't write again for 12 months. And of course they've fallen off. They don't have the same momentum. They don't have the same drive. They don't have the same ideas because they've now fallen off of their goals because they haven't done it for so long. But when you're doing it daily and you're committing to that daily action, it feels more regular. It feels more normal, and you feel in the flow of things. As soon as you fall off of writing, it's easy to just forget about it. I read a quote that the water doesn't come on until the faucet is turned on, right? It's the same thing with writing. A lot of people feel like they have to feel inspired to write. Schedule your writing appointments, sit down and start writing, and then the ideas will come, the creativity will come, your flow will come, your writing will come, and it'll become more and more normal. And I am not a writer. I didn't graduate with an English degree. In fact, I was told, if you aren't familiar, I was told that I sucked at writing. And so I can understand the struggles that come up or the fear that comes up around actually having to write and be committed to writing. But I promise that once the more and more you sit down to do it, the more it'll become natural and it won't feel as overwhelming. I do want to add one more because as I was sitting here, it kind of dropped in my spirit to share this. But another thing that I was doing was I was doing affirmations. So every single morning I would affirm myself, because a lot of times we don't realize it, but we become our own worst enemy with ideas or thoughts about things that we cannot do, things that are impossible for us to do, or reasons why we're not good enough or qualified or called to do various things. And if you wait to feel qualified to do things, you'll do nothing. For every negative thought or every positive thought we have 5 negative thoughts. So think about that. If we're constantly taking in negative thoughts, eventually we're going to become consumed with them and start to believe them and start to apply them to our lives. And you don't want that. And so what I would do is I would affirm where it was that I wanted to be. So I did affirmations in the future tense. So I, Nicolya, am a best-selling author. That was one of my favorite affirmations long before I ever had my book published. I, Nicolya, write with ease when I was struggling with writing. I, Nicolya, set my goals and I reached my goals. That was a big one because a lot of times You can set goals, right? Everybody sets goals. New year, new me. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm going to accomplish this. And then we can easily fall off. And so I wanted to challenge that by reaffirming to myself that I was qualified, that I was good, that I was going to do well with it. And so when I practiced these day-to-day habits, I noticed that I started to put myself on this path of success. I started to push myself past my feelings. I started to push myself past my thoughts. I pushed myself past a negative mindset. I pushed myself past the excuses. And once I implemented this routine and this strategy and this system, and I had it in place, I set myself up to succeed. And so I want to go back through those just so that you really understand the things that you need to do each and every day. That worked very well for me, and that worked very well for my clients. So praying, journaling, researching, affirming, writing, and reading. And obviously I didn't say those in the greatest of order, but they don't have to be done in order. You can kind of do them at your leisure. I've even had clients who take each day to do a different thing. So one day they focus on reading on their topic. The next day they're focusing on journaling on their topic and letting ideas flow. The next day they're focusing on understanding their ideal reader. The next day they're actually doing their writing. The next day they're really journaling affirmations. I mean, I've had people do it all different ways, but these are the basic habits as an aspiring author that will help to push you through to actually getting your book written. And so I just wanted to come and share that with you today because I think it's so powerful, because when you're walking through the process, it's easy to get lost in all the chaotic stuff, and there's so many pieces and there's so many ins and outs, and you want to make sure that you have a good understanding about how you can be successful. So I'd love to hear any feedback that you have of things that have worked for you or how you've implemented these strategies and what they have done for you as well. So I also have a freebie on my website that you can definitely check out. It's called Write Your Chapters. And in this freebie, I teach you how to begin to structure your book, how to get your chapters written, how to begin getting, into the momentum of it. And so it's super exciting. So you can definitely check that out at www.NicolyaWilliams.com. And I can share the link below. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and let's get started writing. Chat with you later. Until next time, continue with clarity.